The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. You know, I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very, it's just not smart. Dana White announced it, said he is officially retired, and Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion. I didn't think that it was going to happen this fast. That by not stepping in that octagon, he quit. Didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. It's so surprising. Tom Aspinall was waiting. UFC was waiting. Everybody's waiting. Jon Jones just walked away. But what happened today opens a conversation for us to question whether or not he ran away. I will go to my grave believing he quit instead of fighting that guy.
One UFC star, Jon Jones, who recently announced his unexpected retirement, is facing legal trouble again. According to a criminal complaint filed in Brunello County Metropolitan Court, Jones is accused of leaving the scene of a car crash. Back in February, a misdemeanor charge he's scheduled to appear in court for a bond. Arraignment on July 24th. Police say an intoxicated and partially unclothed woman claimed Jones was the driver who fled the scene on foot. Officers later spoke with a man believed to be Jones, who sounded drunk and made vague threats. The woman told police she drank and took mushrooms at Jones's house and remembers nothing after leaving until waking up at the crash site. Jones reportedly called her 13 times after the incident, though the crash happened in February. The charges were filed months later, and there's no confirmed link between this case and Jones's recent retirement from MMA.
A criminal complaint against Jon Jones. It stated that an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothing from the waist down. I got this from the Albuquerque Journal, which was sent to me. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver but fled the scene on foot. She didn't call Jones, the complaint stated, and a police service aide spoke to the man on the other end of the call, believed to be Jones. He appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties, through the PSA. The court record stated the PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat when a police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made.
Daniel Cormier gave more details about the situation and explained how the investigation has unfolded so far. Interview 3. Daniel Cormier shared his honest thoughts on the issues surrounding Jones. He said the saddest part is that none of it is surprising. Given Jones's history of risky and reckless decisions, Cormier added that if Jones is truly done with fighting, he hopes he finds something meaningful, like spending time with his longtime girlfriend and kids. He warned that even with all the money in the world, life without purpose can feel empty. And said he believes Jones's true purpose lies in his family.
The phone never answered direct questions about whether he was Jones, the complaint stated. When interviewed in person a few days after the crash, Jones said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in a crash, at which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to immediately opened a conversation with unprofessional language, which led to him doubting the legitimacy of the individual's claim. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushroom at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house, and her next recollection was being at the scene of the crime, the traffic accident. She said the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones. The court record indicated. Police said Jones called the woman's phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. the following morning. And that text messages from his phone were included, though they could not be captured in call detail.
Jon Jones has officially retired from the UFC, and the MMA world is reacting to the shocking news. Dana White confirmed that Jon personally called the UFC to announce his retirement. With that, White declared, Tom Aspinall is now the UFC heavyweight champion. Dana said Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC. However, White also expressed confusion over the sudden decisions, especially since the fight had already been finalized, according to Dana. The UFC had agreed on fair terms and offered Jones what he deserved, but even with everything in place, Jones still chose to walk away, leaving White unsure about the reason behind his retirement.
The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. You know, I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very, it's just not smart. I hope that as he goes into this next phase of his career, if it's over forever, he fills the void with something positive. He's got some beautiful children. He's got a longtime girlfriend. He needs to fill that time with those people if he's going to be able to come out of the other side of his career with something else. Because even if you have a lot of money, you can have money and still not have purpose. His purpose is in those beautiful kids of his. His purpose is in that beautiful woman of his. That's his purpose.
Tom Aspinall also reacted after officially being named the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. He thanked everyone for their support, especially during the last 10 to 11 months of inactivity, which he said wasn't his fault, but still tough to deal with. Aspinall said he's now focused on moving forward and plans to stay as active as possible. His goal is to become the greatest heavyweight of all time, and he's fully determined to defend the title as many times as he can.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Aspinall promised to give back to all the fans who've supported him throughout his career from the past year to the last 10 years. He expressed deep gratitude for their love and encouragement, and assured everyone they'll now see an active and defending UFC undisputed heavyweight champion. Aspinall pledged to keep fans entertained and said he's excited for what's ahead.
Accepted the fight, went to Thailand, came back, didn't want the fight. What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. You know, we were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate? There's a lot of reports about figures he was offered. Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
Also shared his excitement for the start of the Tom Aspinall era. Just as International Fight Week is about to begin, he revealed that he'll be meeting with Aspinall in Las Vegas to talk about what's next, praising Tom for being professional and easy to work with throughout the entire process. According to Dana, Aspinall has made it clear he's ready to fight anyone the UFC puts in front of him. White added that he's genuinely looking forward to this new chapter with Tom as the undisputed heavyweight champion.
Right everyone, the news has broken. I'm sure everybody's seen it. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Moving forward, very, very important to me, just that I acknowledge everybody quickly who has supported me in this, I'm not going to say it was a tough time, but a bit of a challenging time over like the last kind of 10, 11 months that I have been inactive due to no fault of my own. But luckily, that is all behind us now. Massively appreciate the support from everybody. Massively appreciate the support going forward. I am going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing as many times as I possibly can.
As the Tom Aspinall era begins, Dana White made it clear he still doesn't believe Jon Jones ducked Tom despite his retirement. He said Jon has never avoided anyone in his career, except for one strange moment with Chael Sonnen. While the UFC had the fight finalized, Dana isn't sure why Jones changed his mind, but he believes age could be a factor. He also added that once a fighter starts talking about retirement, it's usually best they follow through.
You guys entertained now. I'm going to really give back to everybody who has shown me support over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support and love from everybody, and we're going to see an active, defending UFC heavyweight undisputed champion going forward. Thank you guys, and I'll speak to you.
Khabib Nurmagomedov shared a respectful message for Jon Jones. Following his retirement from MMA, despite not being close personally, Khabib acknowledged Jon as the greatest fighter. In UFC history, he praised Jones for inspiring millions around the world and said that, with everything he's achieved, there is nothing left for him to prove in the sport. Khabib stated, "My congratulations, legend. Even though we were not friends, you are the best to ever do it in UFC history, and you inspire millions of people around the world. You have nothing more to prove in this sport." On the other hand, Daniel Cormier didn't hold back, speaking shortly. After Dana White confirmed the retirement, Cormier doubled down on his earlier prediction that if Jones didn't fight Tom Aspinall, it meant he was walking away. He called the moment unbelievable and bluntly said Jon Jones quit. Cormier emphasized this wasn't a surprise to Heimenfeld. It confirmed what he had suspected all along. Jones was avoiding the fight.
Starts International Fight Week. I'll be back in Vegas tonight, and Tom will be there all next week, so we'll sit down with him, see what he's thinking, what he wants to do. He's been great through this whole thing, and literally said, "I'll fight whoever you guys tell me to fight. I'm ready to go." So looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Tom Aspinall era.
Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, I think the reality is whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that. But, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them? And it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. We had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see. And that's what we try to do. But the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, my philosophy on that, you should.
When it comes to Jon Jones's overall career, Daniel Cormier showed deep respect for his former rival, reflecting on their battles. Cormier said that during their fight in Anaheim, he was performing at the highest level of his entire career. Though he had won major titles in both the UFC and Strikeforce, something compared to how sharp he felt that nights, yet, despite being at his best, Jon Jones still defeated him, a moment that left a lasting impression on Cormier. He admitted that it's one of the reasons he'll always admire Jones's incredible abilities. In Cormier's view, Jon Jones was truly one of a kind inside the Octagon.
Guys, normally we wait till the morning to release these videos, but tonight you gotta stay up late with the boy because Jon Jones quit. I said it a couple weeks ago that if he didn't fight this guy, Jon Jones quit. And tonight Dana White announced that he did. Unbelievable.
Moreover, after confirming that Tom Aspinall is officially the UFC heavyweight champion, Dana White said the next step is figuring out his next opponent with International Fight Week kicking off on Monday in Las Vegas. White confirmed that Tom will be in town all weekend. They plan to sit down and discuss what's next. White emphasized that the UFC will evaluate who the true #1 contender is and make decisions from there.
Tell you this, without question, I beat Stipe Miocic, I became the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, UFC light heavyweight champion. I was never better than that time in Anaheim. That was the best I've ever been, and he beat me. And because of that, I will always respect him for his skills and what he did inside the Octagon. In that 8-sided fence, there was no one.
Dana White shared his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's future following Jon Jones's retirement. Expressing both sympathy and optimism, he admitted he feels bad that Aspinall lost valuable time and money waiting for a fight that never happened, but promised that the UFC will make it up to him. White praised Aspinall for being professional and cooperative throughout the entire process, always ready to fight anyone at any time. He called Tom a great guy and said he believes he'll be an excellent heavyweight champion moving forward, adding that he's genuinely excited to work with him.
Yeah, with Tom Aspinall being an officially champ, who is the number one contender right now? Is it
So International Fight Week starts Monday in Las Vegas, and Tom will be in Vegas all week with us. So we'll get together with him and figure out what's.
Daniel Cormier expressed his confusion over Jon Jones's sudden retirement announcement. He admitted he wasn't sure whether this move was part of a UFC strategy, Jones's personal decision out of frustration, or something else entirely. While uncertain about the full picture, Cormier said that if Jon truly cares about his legacy, this might actually be the right time to walk away than risk facing someone like Tom Aspinall, or take fights where opponents could slip past him. He also pointed out that the UFC gave Jones what he wanted financially, yet he still refused to fight. The news left Cormier stunned, saying his head was spinning after Dana White's unexpected announcement.
I gave him. Listen, if you look at what he's accomplished in the sport, no, it is what it is. I obviously feel bad for Tom that he lost all that time and obviously money, but yeah, we'll make it up to him. Tom Aspinall's a good guy. He's been incredible through this whole process that we've gone through. He's been willing to do anything, fight him anywhere at any time, and do this. And now he's like, I'll fight anybody. You tell me who, and I'll fight him. So Aspinall's been great. He's going to be a great heavyweight champion for us, and I'm excited to work with him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel Cormier believes Jon Jones might not be done for good, could return, but only under specific circumstances. He compared Jones to legends like Muhammad Ali and Georges St. Pierre, who left the ladder down by giving the next generation a chance. Cormier pointed out that Jones, much like Floyd Mayweather, seems more focused on protecting his legacy and choosing fights strictly on his terms. In Cormier's view, Jones doesn't want to risk facing Tom Aspinall. He even speculated that if Tom were to lose his next fight, Jon might suddenly be willing to return, which, according to Cormier, says a lot about what's really motivating Jones's retirement.
I don't know if this is tactics by the UFC. I don't know that this is frustrations with Jon Jones. I don't know what this is. Does it feel like the end completely? I hope it does. Because if he cares about his legacy, he doesn't want to be sitting there beating up on guys that may get past Tom Aspinall. They gave him the money. They agreed to everything, and he still just would not do it. I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Like this, my head's spinning. It was crazy when Dana said, every great champion from Muhammad Ali to Georges St. Pierre to Chuck Liddell to myself, they've all left the ladder down. Very few people don't. Very few people leave without opening the door for that next guy to get a chance. Khabib did it. Floyd Mayweather never really gave that opportunity. Floyd said, I'm going to protect what I got, make a lot of money and take the fights when I want them, where I want them. That's what Jon's doing. Doesn't want to fight Tom. And I honestly feel like if Tom loses, he would come back. And that's crazy to me because that's...
Julian Marquez has expressed doubt about Jon Jones's retirement, questioning why such a legendary career ended without a major tribute or moment. He pointed out that all fans got was a quick comment from Dana White after a fight, not the kind of send-off you'd expect for one of the greatest ever. Julian said, Jon Jones retired, and there wasn't even anything big planned for it, just a short clip of Dana announcing it. Seems to me like Jon will be back. Meanwhile, Renato Moicano shared a bold prediction. He believes Tom Aspinall will face Alex Pereira for the heavyweight title and insists nothing can change his mind. His exact words, Kea will fight Aspinall for the